Hello there guys, welcome to another of my videos. On this video I am going to be giving you my starting 11 prediction for the Chelsea-Manchester United game in the FA Cup semi-final tomorrow, 6 o'clock kickoff at Wembley. As you all know, I've already given you my preview for the game. So let's get into it. So I do believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to make some changes from the 2-0 victory against Crystal Palace recently. Could make around 3, 4, maybe even 5 changes. So I think Solskjaer is going to go with Sergio Romero in goal because, Romero has played in all of our FA Cup games up until this point. So yeah, Romero will start and David De Gea will be dropped. We do know that David De Gea is our number one goalkeeper and he has been our number one for several years. And to be honest with you, I thought David De Gea did very, very well against Crystal Palace. Like I mentioned, he made some superb saves, to deny Wilfred Zaha a few times. Also made a fantastic save to deny Jordan Ayew. David De Gea now, this has been his 9th season at Manchester United. He is actually approaching his 10th year at the football club. And like I've said before, David De Gea has had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been here because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. David De Gea has now made 401 appearances for the club in all competitions. He's already overtaken Peter Schmeichel on appearances. And recently, David De Gea only became the second Manchester United goalkeeper after Alex Stefani to reach 400 appearances. So yeah, we'll rest David De Gea for the game against West Ham. But I think David De Gea is intending on staying at the football club for several years. I think David De Gea as well will be our number one next season. He will remain our number one. Solskjaer was talking about Dean Henderson quite a few weeks ago, and he said in the foreseeable future, Dean Henderson will be Man United's number one goalkeeper and England's number one goalkeeper, but he's not yet ready to become Man United's number one. So there you go. So yeah, Romero in goal. I think he's like our third choice goalkeeper is Romero. Wan-Bissaka at right back. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka is our first choice right back. I think in last couple of games, I don't think Wan-Bissaka's done too good. I don't think he was brilliant against Crystal Palace. I don't think he was also great in the Southampton game. He's looked a bit fatigued as Wan-Bissaka hasn't really got on the end of anything recently, but I still think he's enjoyed a fantastic season for Manchester United. This has been his first season with the club. We got him from Crystal Palace last summer for around, was it £45 million? But to be fair, recently we have seen the attacking side of his game and Wan-Bissaka's defensive contributions been very, very good. It's always been very, very good anyway. The centre halves, I think we'll go with Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Some people say we'll rest Lindelof and we'll put Bailly there ahead of Victor Lindelof. So possibly, Bailly could get the start. But I think, Lindelof will start alongside Harry Maguire. Lindelof's had some bad games as a Manchester United player. Again, I don't think he was too good against Crystal Palace. Weren't great against Southampton. Obviously, he was accountable for Obafemi's late equaliser. But I still think he's a very, very good centre-half, is Lindelof. But he's not a world-class centre-half. This has been his third season now with Manchester United. We paid £30 million in from Benfica back in 2017. But still a lot of aspects of his game have really, really improved because in his first season, Lindelof struggled for that consistency and didn't settle in straight away. Eric Bailly, I think, is a very, very good centre half. And if he wasn't injury prone, he actually would be my preference ahead of Lindelof. But he's injury prone is Eric Bailly. So let's put that into the equation. This has been Eric Bailly's 4th season at Manchester United. We did get him under the Jose Mourinho era. He was actually the first signing that we'd made under Jose Mourinho. We paid £30 million for him. But yeah. Harry Maguire, I don't think he's been good recently either, but I still think Harry Maguire's done quite well, with Man United. This has been his first season at the football club. I still believe we made the right decision by giving Harry Maguire the captaincy. We're giving the captaincy reflecting on Ashley Young's departure. Harry Maguire is the most expensive centre-half in the world, and he's the second most expensive signing at the football club just behind Paul Pogba. So it will be Lindelof and Harry Maguire at the back, I think. Left back now. If Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams are unavailable, then I think, we'll start Fosu Mensah at left back. Don't forget Fosu Mensah started against Crystal Palace. That was his first appearance for Manchester United in just over 3 years. And I thought he did very, very well against Crystal Palace, to be honest with you. His height and his pace were very, very useful. Fosu Mensah was injured for a while. He did have loan spells with Crystal Palace and Fulham. But I believe that Fosu Mensah, will get more chances now. We could possibly go with Diego Dalot at left back. He's another option if Luke Shaw Williams are available. But I don't think, we will start Diego Dalot in this game. I probably do expect Diego Dalot to leave the football club in the summer transfer window because I don't think he's good enough to represent Manchester United. But, Brandon Williams may be available, and if Williams or Luke Shaw are available, then I think they'll start. Probably Williams will end up, starting at left back. I think Williams has enjoyed a fantastic, season with Man United, and this has been his first season in the senior squad. So, yeah. Midfield, I'm going to go with Paul Pogba and Nemanja Matic in that midfield. Like I said regarding Paul Pogba, I don't think he's been too good in the last couple of games. I don't think he was brilliant against Palace, and he also weren't great against Southampton. But prior to them 2 games, I think since the resumption of the season, Paul Pogba has made a fantastic impact. Like I said, I didn't really have a perception on Paul Pogba earlier on in the season because don't forget he was out with that ankle injury. And Paul Pogba has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. Now, you already know the news regarding him. There were stories coming out saying that Manchester United are close to getting Paul Pogba a new 5-year contract, but he said this contract extension is expected to be announced at the end of the season. If he was to sign this contract, Pogba would remain at the club until 2025. As it stands at the moment, Pogba has just got under a year left on his contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. On Paul Pogba's current contract at the moment, he's on just under 300 grand a week. He's the most expensive signing because we did pay £89 million for him. But if we can get him this new long-term contract, then it will end the uncertainty over his future because Paul Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga. At one point, it was looking likely he was going to be leaving the football club because don't forget he was linked to a move to Real Madrid last summer. There was talks about him going back to Juventus, and he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. But maybe Paul Pogba won't start in this game against Chelsea, but I think, he will start in this game against Chelsea because it's a very, very imperative game. Like I said, the Nemanja Matic, I think he'll start. He didn't start against Palace, but he came off the bench. It was McTominay that started ahead of Matic in the Palace game, and I was very, very disappointed with McTominay against Crystal Palace. That was McTominay's first start for the football club since the 1-1 draw with Tottenham. Like I said, McTominay took too many touches on the ball. That slowed the play down. He was also very, very slow on the ball. But I still think McTominay's enjoyed a very, very good season. And he was ahead of Matic before lockdown. But, since the resumption of the season, Matic has got there ahead of Scott McTominay. But I think Matic has deserved it, reflecting on his good run of performances. This has been Matic's 3rd season at Manchester United. I think he's made over 100 appearances now for the club. Don't forget the other week, Matic signed a new contract with Manchester United. I think was it a 3-year contract to keep him at the club until 2023. We paid £40 million in from Chelsea back in 2017. We could also even start Fred. Fred hasn't been getting a lot of starts, has he, recently? I think, Fred's enjoyed a very, very good season for Manchester United under Solskjaer. Couldn't really criticise Fred under Jose Mourinho because Fred never really got his opportunities under Mourinho, and I thought Fred was exceptional in Ukraine with Shakhtar Donetsk. But I think it will be Pogba and Matic in that midfield. I think on the right-hand side, we will probably start Mason Greenwood. Some people say we'll start Daniel James ahead of Greenwood in this game because Greenwood, in the last couple of games, has been a bit off the pace, hasn't he? But there again, he did sustain that ankle injury in the 2-2 draw with Southampton. But, Solskjaer's been talking a lot about Mason Greenwood recently. saying that he's ready to play for England at senior level, and he knows that he's undroppable, Mason Greenwood. But maybe we could give him a rest, but I think Solskjaer will start him in this game. This has been Mason Greenwood's first full season in the senior squad, and he's got 16 goals in all competitions this season. There's still a chance Daniel James could get there ahead of him. James hasn't started for a while, has he? Let's be honest. And I think Daniel James enjoyed a very good season for Man United. We got him last summer from Swansea for just £15 million, so he was a cheap solution, was Daniel James. There's a chance we could loan Daniel James out for next season. James, when he's played this season, he's played on that right-hand side, but actually, he's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side. But Greenwood on the right. Some people believe that Jesse Lingard may start on Sunday against Chelsea. Because actually, Jesse Lingard has actually got a good reputation in the cup games, because I think he scored in like 3 of our finals. Jesse Lingard obviously now doesn't get starts, so he's finding game time very, very difficult at Manchester United. Jesse Lingard's been at the football club for several years. And like I said, reflects on the years he's been here and his status at the club. He should be putting much more better performances out. I think Lingard's one of the players that is expected to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. I think Lingard's made around 131 appearances for the club and scored 17 goals. Don't forget, hasn't registered 1 goal or 1 assist in the Premier League for over the year. So that just indicates how inconsistent he is. So maybe we'll drop Bruno Fernandes and, we'll start Lingard. But I don't think, Lingard will start. I think, we'll probably start Bruno Fernandes in that number 10. To be honest with you, in the last couple of games, Bruno Fernandes has looked, a bit off the pace, hasn't he? I don't think he's played to his actual best. He wasn't great against Crystal Palace. He did actually, hit the post, so he could have got his name on the score sheet, and weren't great against Southampton. He lacked that composure, and that's, very unusual of Bruno Fernandes, but he still enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career as Bruno Fernandes. He's got, 8 goals for the football club since his arrival from Sporting Lisbon in January. He's become the first Manchester United player to win back-to-back Player of the Month since Cristiano Ronaldo. He won Player of the Month for June, and he also won it for February. But Bruno Fernandes has still made the difference in the team. But I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes to start. Marcus Rashford on that left-hand side, he'll start. Rashford's been in a fantastic vein of form. Rashford, I think, has now got, 3 goals, or is it 2 goals since the resumption of the season? I think it's 3 goals, actually. Rashford did score in the 2-0 game against Palace. He also provided an assist for Anthony Martial's second. Very, very good player, Rashford. And like I said earlier on in the season, Marcus Rashford was a big miss for Manchester United because he was out with that back injury. And definitely Rashford is the foreseeable future for the football club. Rashford has now got 22 goals in all competitions this season for Man United. Centrally, you probably will start Anthony Martial centrally, but there's a chance that Odion Ighalo could start. Maybe he won't start Ighalo, maybe he'll come off the bench. I just want to remind you that Odion Ighalo is our top goal scorer in the FA Cup. Like I said, now Ighalo's starts will be limited anyway, but obviously he'll still get chances from the bench. Ighalo's going to be staying with us until January 2021. Because obviously, it confirmed before the resumption of the season, was it, that would extended his loan for, until the end of January 2021. We've got no obligation to buy Ighalo, or there's no option to buy. So after his loan spell with us, he will go back to Shanghai Shenhua. But he's done very, very well. Like I said before lockdown and that, he was doing very, very well. He was getting starts and he was scoring goals. Was Odion Ighalo, but I think Martial's going to start centrally, and Martial's enjoyed a fantastic season. He really, really has. I think he's had 2 good seasons out of the 5 seasons he's been with Man United. I think he's done well this season under Solskjaer, and he did well in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. And Martial has now got 22 goals in all competitions this season and 51 goals in the Premier League for Manchester United. So that's how I think we're gonna line up against Chelsea tomorrow. By the way, Solskjaer has done his press conference for the game. I will be giving you my reaction to his press conference later on. I presume he would have provided us with some news on Brandon Williams and Luke Shaw. This is, what he would have done. If we can beat Chelsea tomorrow, we will progress to the FA Cup final. And if we can also beat Chelsea tomorrow, we will extend our unbeaten run to 20 in all competitions, because as it stands at the moment, we are unbeaten in our last 19 games in all competitions. And I think we are unbeaten in our last 12 league games. And this is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. But this, is going to be a tough game. The FA Cup is definitely a priority for us, because it is a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. Want to win our first trophy under Solskjaer. Also, too, the Europa League is a priority for us, because that's also a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. And not only that, if we win the Europa League, we will get automatic qualification for the Champions League. So if we won the Europa League, then obviously, we wouldn't need to finish in that top four. But, the top four is still a priority for us. And like I said, we haven't won a trophy now for over 3 years. And that's the first time that's happened since the late 1980s. So last time we won a trophy was the Europa League and the League Cup. That was back under the Jose Mourinho era. The last time we won the FA Cup was back under Louis van Gaal in 2016. But we have won the FA Cup 12 times. If we can win it this season, we'd have won it 13 times. So we will be level with Arsenal. As it stands at the moment, Arsenal are the most successful team in FA Cup history, because Arsenal have, of course, won 13. But like I said, Chelsea are very, very good in the FA Cup. They've won 12 of their last 15 games. Won 12 of their last 15 in the FA Cup semi-finals. So they are very, very good in the FA Cup. We've already beaten Chelsea 3 times this season. We're beating them earlier on in the season at Stamford Bridge 2-0. That was the first time we've beaten them at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League since 2012. We actually seldom win when we go to Stamford Bridge. We're beating them 2-1 earlier on the season at Stamford Bridge in the Carabao Cup, and we're beating them 4-0 at the start of the season, and we're beating them 2-0 last season in the FA Cup. So we've played I think this is like the 4th season in a row now, is it? We've met Chelsea in the FA Cup, but I think we remain unbeaten against Chelsea since Solskjaer came in. So if we can beat Chelsea tomorrow, that will be the 4th time, we would have beaten them this season. But, it will not be an easy game. You already know some of Chelsea's news, don't you? They've got a couple of injuries, they've got N'Golo Kante out. He's a very, very good player for Chelsea. I think they've also got Billy Gilmour out. I think they've also got Marco van Dingle out. But Chelsea, have still got very, very good players, that could cause us all sorts of problems. They've got lights of Pulisic, they've got Tammy Abraham. Chelsea have got a lot of good young players coming through. Abraham, Callum Hudson-Odoi. They've got that Batshuayi. They've got other good players as well, such as Ross Barkley. Like I said, Kante, very happy, he's going to be missing out. They've got Pedro, they've got Willian, they've got Jorginho, they've got Rudiger, who I think is a very, very good centre-half for them. They've got Kepa Arrizabalaga, who's their goalkeeper. He may not start tomorrow for Chelsea. I think probably Caballero will start ahead of him. And Chelsea, have also done very, very good business so far. They've already signed 2 players, and the summer transfer window isn't even open. The summer transfer window opens on the 27th of July, and I think it will be open until October. But Chelsea so far have signed Timo Werner from RB Leipzig. I think didn't Chelsea get him for around £48 million? And back in February, they signed Hakim Ziyech for around, was it £38 million? So they spent around £80 million on them 2 players. Chelsea are looking to get Havertz on the board from Leverkusen. They've been trying to get Ben Chilwell. So Chelsea, could be up there challenging, next season. They really, really could. Chelsea could be up there, challenging next season. But like I said, I think Frank Lampard's enjoyed a very good first season with Chelsea. This has been his first full season as Chelsea manager. And don't forget, Frank Lampard knows Chelsea inside out. Just like Solskjaer knows Manchester United inside out. And, Chelsea's his second club in his managerial career, Frank Lampard. Because obviously, last season he was with Derby. He actually, progressed Derby to the playoff final, did Lampard. And, Lampard enjoyed 13 years as a player for Chelsea. And, he's their all-time leading goal scorer with 211 goals in all competitions. So, yeah. But I think next season, maybe if Chelsea, don't exceed expectations, then, Frank Lampard will have a huge predicament ahead of him. Same sort of thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. But like I said, the league's a priority for us. We've got 2 games remaining now. We've got West Ham and we've also got Leicester. And we know if we do win them 2 remaining games, we will finish in the top 4 because we know how important Champions League qualification is. Because if we get qualification for the Champions League, we'll generate money. And plus, it'll help us get the players that we do want in the summer transfer window. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's already said, he wants to make around 3 signings in the summer transfer window. He's had quite a few, meetings with Ed Woodward, to discuss his plans for the summer transfer window. And he's told Ed Woodward, the 3 positions he wants to strengthen up. He said he wants to recommend the striker in, a right winger. And he also wants to recommend a centre-half in, even though we have got 7 centre-halves in the team. Solskjaer said not too long ago that our plans for next season, our pre-season plans and our transfer strategy are up in the air due to the uncertainty of how the current season will finish. But, there's a lot of uncertainty regarding the summer transfer window anyway, with the financial impact of the coronavirus pandemic, But, I think we'll spend quite a bit of money in the summer transfer window. We're not only going to focus on the incomings in the summer transfer window, we're going to be getting rid of players in the summer transfer window. I think we're going to get rid of at least 6 players in the summer transfer window. So we're going to generate money that way. And recent reports did say that we've put 6 players up for sale now. And part of those 6 players we've put up for sale is Alexis Sanchez. I'm hopeful that we can get rid of him permanently because it'll free up our wage bill completely. Lingard, he's up for sale. Delors, he's up for sale. Smalling, Rojo and Phil Jones, they're all up for sale as well. And to be fair, Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the football club. I think we have seen, is it 20 or over 20 players leave Man United since Solskjaer came into the club, and Solskjaer has now been at Manchester United 18. He's been at Manchester United 18 months. So he has been at the football club a year and a half. And I think he's been permanent Manchester United manager for around 15 months. And I've got to credit Solskjaer as well because, he's given more or less everybody their chances to express themselves, including the young players, because Solskjaer has promoted the youth very, very well this season. We've also extended a lot of players' contracts since he came in. We still face a dilemma regarding the contracts because we have still got around 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. And Solskjaer's got to make a decision on those 8 players. I think our record against the top 6 sides this season's been very, very good. We've taken 18 points against the top 6 sides this season, which is also very, very good. Beaten City 3 times this season, beaten Chelsea 3 times this season. Solskjaer's beaten Tottenham twice as a manager, drew with Liverpool earlier on in the season, beat Leicester earlier on in the season. So that's also improved. Our recruitment, I think, has been very, very good under Solskjaer as well. That's very, very good. Because like I said, for several years, our recruitment's been poor and, we have been heavily criticised for it. We've also overpaid for players in recent years and we've also been criticised for that. And that obviously, stems from Ed Woodward and, the running of the club. And this is why Woodward and the likes of the Glazers have been criticised for several years. But got to say, Solskjaer's brought 5 good players into the football club so far and spent just over £200 million on them. But But like I said, Solskjaer will definitely be Man United manager next season. Even if we weren't to win the FA Cup or the Europa League or even get qualification for the Champions League, I still think he will be Man United manager next season because he does need time at the football club because it is a transition period and it has been a transition period for a while. This has been his first full season at Man United, so he's still learning. He's learned a lot of things, reflecting how long he's been here now, and, he's got that managerial experience. Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Don't get me wrong, there's still things Manchester United need to work on. I'm not denying that. I think we need to keep the ball better. We need to be quicker in our play. We need to be quicker on the flanks and that. Maybe defensively we need to be better. We have defensively been better in this unbeaten run, but we do still leak goals. So maybe it would be beneficial if we was to recommend the centre-half in. But you can still see the deficiencies in the squad where Manchester United do need to strengthen up. But we're much better than we was earlier on in the season, because earlier on in the season we'd endured our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. And, we had a lot of bad results earlier on in the season. We had that 2-0 away loss at West Ham. We had that 1-0 away loss at Newcastle. We had that 2-1 home loss to Crystal Palace. We drew away at Southampton. We had that 2-0 home loss to Burnley in January. But since then, we have been in a fantastic vein of form. We are unbeaten, since we signed Bruno Fernandes. So it's just amazing how, one player can make a difference in a team. It is, just amazing. But like I said, next season, our expectations will be to challenge for the Premier League title, because we have got to spend money to compete with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. We've got to spend money. And, like I said, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013. So the last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. But we are the most successful team in England because we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues and that. But I'm very, very convinced that we can get our 21st title under Solskjaer. Just give him a bit more time at the football club. Like I said, Solskjaer's our fourth permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Like I said, 3 managers have been sacked, in the last, 6-7 years. Moyes went, Louis van Gaal went, and Jose Mourinho went. But in the last 7 years, we haven't only had different managers with different philosophies. We've spent close to the £1 billion range on players. We've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. And people say, reflect on the money that's been spent, we should be where Liverpool are or minimum where Manchester City are. But obviously, we are not. And we've also got players on big contracts at the football club, But basically, Solskjaer wants to bring players in that are going to fit the culture of the club. I still think he's keen on recommending young, upcoming players in because, there's been a lot of young players on our agenda, and there's 2 young players that have already turned down moves to Man United, and that was Erling Haaland. Like I said, it was a shame we didn't get him in January, and Jude Bellingham's also turned down a move to Manchester United. So there you go. But anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.